Hi Taurus, welcome to your week ahead tarot with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Taurus, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So I'm feeling a little bit under the weather this week, and will probably be feeling that way for a couple of weeks to come. So unfortunately this is going to be the setup for the next few weeks, but I promise I will be back soon, better than ever, as they say. Well, one can hope, but yeah, I hope you find this aesthetically pleasing, and I just want to say a big thank you for your understanding and all of your well wishes. All right, so for your key to the week this week, you have the Tower card. So in a sense, this is kind of an energy that you're really very used to, because Uranus is currently in your sign at the moment. All right, so this is an energy that you are familiar with at this point. It's not new to you. You understand how it works. You understand how it kind of how that Uranian energy flows. And the fact that you've got the Tower card this week, I am going to say you do need to brace yourself. So as I'm looking at this card, that lightning strike to the Tower is really speaking to me. And I wonder if, I don't know if any of you saw the April video, but I talked to, I don't know whether it was in your sign actually, but I remember talking about it and saying that I feel like we're going to see a geological event in April, especially on the run up to that eclipse that's going to be in your sign. Now the eclipse is going to be wonderful, but I do feel like it's going to have a few side effects nonetheless. Back to this week, I do feel like this is going to be a moment where there is a curveball. There's something that's coming up that is going to be either a surprise, something that may take the wind out of your sails a bit. And this is like, if you saw the weekly general, if you haven't seen it, check it out. This week the message was quite pertinent, and so I want to say to you this week, you may be tempted to act out of character, right? Taurus goes from A to B to C. This week, because you've got this Tower card, your first response to something might be something completely outside of what you would usually go for or what you would usually do. And I am inclined to say to you, it's not going to help you, and it really isn't the best response that you can have. So I would say, like, this week, give yourself some... cut yourself some slack for not being in control of what takes place, but make sure you do everything in a sequence so that you can at least maybe not even control what you can. It's more about kind of figuring out what the damage control that you need to do might be. So if you are a continued subby, you know Rafi loves you. And if you're new to my, it doesn't really look very good from here. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and this resonates, hit the subscribe button. For your actions and options this week, you've got the Two of Wands. So this is fantastic. For a lot of you, you could literally be deciding this week to go in a very different direction to something that you had been considering before. It may also be that this week you find a way to really think to yourself, you know what? I'm going to do something that goes completely against the grain in my industry, in my marriage, like, and it's not something destructive. It's just a very different path or a very different avenue to what you are used to or what people are used to experiencing or having from you. Some move that you make this week, one thing that I love about the Two of Wands, there's very often an air of affluence around this, and so some move that you make this week could really go a very long way to securing your financial future. It is, however, going to be very disruptive in the short term. So if you get kickback, if people ask you WTF you're doing, don't feel sort of out of place or whatever for it. Just kind of say to yourself, I love how, look, the sun has literally got half of it in the light and half in the dark. I didn't plan that, right? I'm not in control of the elements, but I just find it really interesting. So yeah, and I will say, like, if this would be a really good week to keep people in the loop. If there are things that you want to do this week where you're like, okay, you know what, I'm going to go in a very different direction, or I am going to, maybe I'm dropping something dead completely and going completely the opposite way. Nothing wrong with that. Just make sure you're keeping everybody in the loop. But some move that you make this week, I feel like in your future could end up being very lucrative for you. For your communications and conversations, you've got the Queen of Swords. So this is where the challenges are going to come in. The Queen of Swords, I love the Queen of Swords. She's got a mouth like a sewer, but a heart full of gold. And it usually shows up where there is going to be some form of conflict, where we're having to fight for something, or where we're having to really not even establish a boundary. This is where we're having to do some sort of damage control or go to war for something. And because you've got this here with the Tower card, I would say your communications are likely to be fraught, strained, challenging. Quite possibly, I would say that there may even be an argument this week. So this is something that you need to watch out for. With those of you that are students or in the academic sphere, give yourself some time this week to ask yourself where your disagreements are with your professors or your, teachers or whatever, and why you have them. What part of you is whatever the information that they're giving or their teaching style, like what part of you is it that really, really grates about this person? Because I kind of get the feeling this week you could end up cutting your nose off to spite your face. Remember, if you cause a problem and this isn't to say we don't hold people in positions of authority accountable, right? We totally freaking do. I'm serious when I say that. However, if it's just that you don't like this person's teaching style, maybe you can ask them to adjust it before you go straight in with the heavy guns and start talking to heads of department, etc. Your actions, Two of Wands, right? You've got a card of very active action orientated proportions here. Your actions are going to determine how things continue from here on in. So it's really important that you measure what you're doing this week, and in the way that you're putting it forward. For those of you that are employed by somebody else, this week you're going to be seen as a ball buster, and I'm sorry to say, but there isn't really any way around it. This is one of those weeks where you're just going to have to go through. But again, because it's the Queen of Swords, there is kickback here. It's not going to be a case of, well, I can just do whatever I like. No, there is going to be, I don't like the word repercussions. It makes me feel like a 5-year-old. But yeah, there is going to be kickback this week. So whatever you're trying to implement, whatever you're trying to set in motion, just be aware that that is the case. For those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, I'm sorry to say, but this may be something to do with the technology in or around your business might have an issue this week. Watch out for this. Lock up your passwords, change your passwords if you can. This would be a really good week to really make your business and your business computer and your laptop and your phone and all the rest of it, make everything as secure as you possibly can this week. I don't know why, but that really feels like a very important message for you. For those of you that are retired and no longer working for any reason, in a lot of ways, this could see you deciding what new cause you are ready to stand for or fight for. Again, just be sure that this is a cause that you want to fight for and that you're not doing it on behalf of somebody else. Because that could be a thing here. It could totally be a thing here. For your love and relations, you have the High Priestess. So for those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, this is something that you and your partner are discussing outside or behind closed doors. This could be something that you guys have maybe disagreed on for a long time. It could be something that comes to light that a partner has maybe hidden from you, or something that you've hidden from a partner. And that is something that needs to be looked at. Or, if we don't feel safe enough in our relationship to tell our partner something, then obviously there's a problem with the communication. All right, now that being said, we've got the Two of Wands here. The High Priestess herself is also number 2. 2 twos represents a bond and a pact or an accord. And in a lot of ways, this suggests that those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, something about the relationship is needing to be looked at this week. Something about the relationship is either needing to evolve or is maybe having something revealed to one of you about the other, or maybe something that comes to the surface now through communication. But I gotta be honest with you, it's not going to be easy. For those of you that are single, this could be like a really uncomfortable crush, you know, like maybe you find out that suddenly find out that, oh my gosh, I've actually got a secret admirer at work. And then when you find out who it is, you're like, oh my gosh, no, this cannot, you know, like this can't be happening. It's not this person. I'm not the one, boo. Like, you know, there's just a sense here where you're kind of like, no. I'm going to say this, even if it comes across as harsh, if you know that this is the case and you're like, no, I'm really not in that space and I don't feel the same, shut it down quickly. All right, because otherwise it's going to become a problem later on. So this is something to shut down quickly. If it's something that you have to do publicly, find a way to do it gently. All right, if there is somebody that you need to let down or kind of say, well, actually, you know, no, I don't feel the same or whatever, that's fine. Just do it in a way that is, you know, do it in a way that you would want it to be done to you. For your money and materials, you have the Three of Pentacles. This is the gathering of new skills that you are gaining behind the scenes. I love this. Three of Pentacles is good for money because it suggests, especially with the High Priestess here, this is a tidbit of information. This is a hot tip. This is some sort of piece of gossip that comes in that is actually, you know, that you can use. Maybe somebody says, look, I've got a, you know, a hot tip on a cryptocurrency or a horse. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say bet the house on it, but this could be a week where some surprise information comes to you, and when it does, it could be information that could be very useful and potentially very lucrative. So keep an ear out for that. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, the Three of Pentacles is your it's your body, but your knees, your structure. So you got to look after your physical self this week, especially the knees. When it comes to your home and environment, this could be a time where you are learning something new about your environment or somebody that lives in it. If you have children, this might be a secret that is divulged to you about them, or that comes from them, that could be quite disruptive. So there's lots of great stuff here, but there are some challenges, and you know, I've kind of opened up as much of them as I possibly can for you. So keep your eyes and ears peeled. All right, with that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Take care, and I'll see you soon.